Christina Universe Citizen presents New Era E-Legion, Episode 59, Part 1, June 5th, 2022. Local problem solving as a coexisting function of universe. Why do the observing and articulating humans feel free concerning whatever, whenever, wherever, with whomever? Its reacting personality involves self and other systemic thought as a function of the destructive or constructive environmental eventing. Isn't feeling free natural? To the humans, information gathering, local problem solving as a function of universe. After all, we are individuals of an evolving species, humans of a mind. This is with a mind of our own, which we could associatively identify as the inherently inviolable integrity of the individual. What if the mind we are disowning as the essential design of our innate nature is self-abnegated, induced thus by otherness controls that momentarily seem to be more valid than what we deeply feel belongs solely to self's evolution propensity? But because we have no accurately coordinated words to describe the self-inverted rejections, neither can we individually consciously decide to explore the geometry of our own thinking because, and as the case for billions of humans on Earth, the integral power of our uniquely individual design has been reduced to that of the slave mentality. Who knew? Before looking into the word processing dictionary and thesaurus for the definition of the intuited word inverted, that it is synonymous with reverse. Turn inside out, turn inward, turn upside down. I, for one, did not have a clue this would be the case as I was writing the first paragraph of this essay today, and the word popped into my head. Actually, I had debacle in mind as one word. To explore, to look into the Oxford University Press Dictionary and Thesaurus on my word processor before I turned on my computer. But that was almost forgotten as I got into what, why, where, whom questions that are contributive to wondering when our humanity can ever make logical sense of the ongoing democracies that are failures, utter disasters that repeatedly unleash emulating personality disorders from those amongst us who must have been born with all the hope and promise of a healthy infant, until, that is, the environment of its developing potential, as true for the more than 8 billion humans on Earth, is parented by others who likewise are born to survive every event that can be detrimental to healthy, happy coexistence. Un enfant popped into my head the other day, which I immediately recalled was French for one infant from my early education in Canada when I was learning French, and that was the end of it. But what compelled my intuition to invite those words out of the blue, clearly registering as a thought of an inaudible voice, which we don't usually pay much attention to as clues correlatively to anticipatory reality, especially when a person is actively writing with more in mind than pleasing or attracting a greater share of the literary marketplace. Sometimes that out-of-the-blue source is referred to as the inner voice, transceiver brain traffic, and cosmic fishing. But I was not consciously thinking of an infant, any infant, still. The infant seems to be of little concern as the PRJWBCS continues to ignore what could alter the information gathering problem solving capability with which each of us is designed in principle as an inherent survival proclivity. Solving problems is inherent in the design of human beings. By nature, each of us functions thus, gathering information from the environment for local problem solving. Local environmental systemic events of universe are ever transforming events. So logically, the intertransforming environment accommodates myriads of solvable problems, even those irrationally contrived problems by which we are confronted and that result from redundantly destructive delusions. Feel free to modify and forward direct to time whatever the democracy you are involved in permits. This may seem like an odd suggestion. Actually, it is out of the ordinary because when we analyze freedoms in the democracies of our world said to be of the people, by the people, for the people, the self-governing communications process is anything but free. This is because freedom was usurped by the PRJWBCS politics, religion, justice, war, belief, complex schemes so long ago the contemporary generation has no clue as to when this actually transpired, nor technically how it happened. That we are unable to consciously discern when freedom was usurped by an invisible, unidentified force makes it almost impossible to prove. And even had any of us existed when the usurpation initiated, chances are we would have been unable en masse to prevent it, much less as one of many in the human population. This seems to be what variously sized, partially overlapping generations of humans on Earth continue to be confounded by, as we have for many millenniums to overcome the self-other invalidations. It suggests that many alternative experience options will always present more clarity. Yet this is also to pay attention to the genius that may come along in anyone's lifetime to inspire deeper considerations other than adjusting the a priori thought to the conformities of educated ignorance. Many of us are so overwhelmed by educated ignorance we succumb to the slave mentality of it without tuning into what we are now being introduced to, which is our Buckminster Fuller synergetics, explorations in the geometry of thinking, and discovery of nature's coordinate system from the 20th century. His genius inspires the individual's receptive mentality to consciously consider the mind of universe, which is the eternal omniscient mind that is readily associative with systemic thought's conceptual environments. Anyone can read to learn and write. To learn more about self and other in synergetic, feel free to explore the most economical force lines in universe is self-authorized invitation to recognize the word geodesics, wherever the cogitation may lead. It may lead to cogitating reliably in respect to equilibrium with the vector equilibrium in the metaphysical generalized conceptioning field of thought. Also, writing cogitatively is a differently coordinated thought language construction that the individual economic initiative can consciously involve humans of a mind. Constructive reading and writing, mindfully of anticipating the most economical way of behaving relative to unity and self and universe, are different from destructive, least economical thought processes. Those subtle distinctions seem to be of no relative value to the underway democracies, whose humanity cries out screeching to be heard. But similarly to the one-hand clapping analogy, the outcries land on deaf ears wherever already schematically perpetrated political campaign slogans and promises intend winning at any cost. This continues to be the case despite the myriad unsolved problems from the last term in office and all those terms prior to the ever-revolving turnstiles with one entrance, exit, ingress, egress, futility vortex. While humans can never get out of universe, we can always get out of systems. So it seems to be important that we understand what a system is differentiated from schemes. Even the word inverted, as synonymous with reverse, turn inside out, turn inward, turn upside down, that was not consciously known as such to me before this morning, also applies to conceptualities of the motion freedoms, as does a conceptuality of the tetrahedron, the only system in the universe that turns itself inside out. In that process, along with the vector equilibrium, the conceptuality demonstrates axial rotation, orbital rotation, inside-outing, torque, expansion, contraction, precession, the 6 motion freedoms. Awareness of the minimum structural system and the geometric model of exact balance, coincidental to consciously knowing the minimum thinkable set, contributes to the anticipatory design science thoughtful projections of nature's coordinate system of self-polarizing in, out, and aroundness, as we can read about this in Synergetics 981.02. It concerns the lag rates between apprehension and comprehension, where the 6 degrees of freedom involve metaphysical generalized conceptioning fields of thought correlatively to apprehending and comprehending self-experience. Such experience initiates life awareness. It regeneratively processes the evolution we know approximately nothing about, as we are continually being interfered with by the people of the democracy that is said to be self-governing as a preferred form of government for the people, which turns out to be a mistaken ideology. This does not mean to say a true democracy is impossible. If a democracy is supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people, it means that the people are programmed by the least economical way of behaving relative to unity and self in universe everywhere in the world that typifies the inherited detriments of the PRJWBCS. Any of those interrelating, interacting involvement factors. The P for politics, the R for religion, the J for justice, the W for war, can be in its predominant authoritative modus operandi, which typically is controlled by the human personality and personalities of the governing body. Therefore, we could say, those other forms of government, the theocracy, the communism, and so forth, are not democracies because they are ruled by tyrannical ancient laws and dogmatic impositions that are unconcerned with freedom of the individual and are more concerned with controlling the masses by belief complexities. Although controlling the masses occurs as democracies depend on elected and officially assigned personalities for various lengths of time in powerful positions of authority. To be continued in episode 60, part 2. Thank you.